Yo, what is up everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. So hope you guys are all having a great day. And yes, we have a new tower. Now, before I get into like what I think about it and the strategies behind it, I just want to say, PG, we have enough freaking flaks. We need something different. Please, reconsider. I mean, I know they're going to put this one in because they've already designed it, but there better not be any more flaks. The issue with it is that if you are free to play, there's already a massive issue with getting enough elemental embers to build the flags that you need to stay competitive. Adding more flags that all require elemental embers, which are extremely hard to get unless you buy a billion gold chests like some people do. And even with a billion gold chest, I am running low of elemental embers already, and I spent a couple $1,000s. So if you're free to play, I mean, there's a running joke that I'm free to play. I'm not. For about a year and a half, when I first started this game, I was, and there wasn't flax, but there were ice turrets, right? And I noticed it was kind of difficult to get mine leveled because I kept running out of shards. And I know that I keep getting complaints from a lot of people who are, not spending a ton of money, and they're already out of elemental embers. So please, PG, stop putting out flax. I don't want to say that I represent people, but I feel like I have a way to say stuff, and I don't honestly know why I do because PG never listens anyway, but I don't know. It makes me feel better that I'm saying this because it really, honestly, it annoys me. I think that they need to have a little bit more variety. At this point, the meta is build as many flags as possible, and you have an OP base. There is literally no strategy involved in building bases now. It's just building a billion flags. If you're a max out player, you build a bunch of flags, you win. You can disagree with me. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that down in the comment section. But anyway, all right. They're calling it the Zap Flak. All right, it's actually called the Electro Flak Tower. It's obviously it has a white little lightning stuff, but this will be coming into the game this week. Why in the world aren't they putting it out during fortification? Oh wait, I think they are. Sorry, never mind. I think they are putting in fortification. But yeah. So the Electro Flak Tower. Now, it deals elemental damage by way of lightning bolts. Their normal attack, not the super shot. The super shot is different, but the normal attack deals elemental damage. That means that Necrix with the elemental barrier will basically negate all that damage, right? So there's two different types of damage in the game. There's projectile and there's elemental. I'll probably make a video on that just so people understand kind of which one's which. So yeah. But the passive ability. Boost the super shot damage of other flak towers. We have a flak that increases the attack of the other flaks. It's flakception now. It just literally build as many flaks as possible and you freaking win. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't... Come on. I think they could have been a lot more creative with this. Instead of just saying, boost other flak. I think that... I know people, are saying, okay, I have a really overpowered base, I don't want to change it. But I think even instead of making it boost other flak towers, why not boost every other tower beside flaks? Bring in a variety in bases, not just the same thing over and over and over. That's just my personal thing, but anyway, that's what it does. They probably will not change it. So it boosts the super shot damage, not the normal damage, the super shot. So if it's undefended, is it really going to be super effective? Probably not, but again, when it's defended, oh yeah, that damage will be pretty ridiculous, I think. So yeah, it's interesting. Especially with dark flaks, especially. The ice flak and the fire flak, they're not really meant to do an insane... they do an insane amount of damage when maxed out, but they really have their utility. The ice flak takes away the usage of spells, and the fire flak decreases the amount of damage that dragons do. So, it's useful, I think. It's going to be interesting. Its super shot is overcharged. Now, this is interesting. Electro Flak super shot will deal projectile damage to dragons. So it has an elemental shot, but the super shot will deal projectile damage. Okay, so that means that it can be dodged by cloak. It means that it can be reversed. And it means that... and what I don't understand really is... is that the only thing that it does. Is it like a dark flak that's just projectile? Because if it is, I would much rather have a dark flak, because the dark flaks, their elemental cannot be reversed. If I was coming up on a base with this Electro Flak and there were defenders, I would just equip a reverse projectiles and reverse it, So I don't really see the super overpoweredness of this super shot, unless it deals a ridiculous amount of damage. But then again, we have fire turrets that deal an insane amount of damage. But again, well, actually, the difference would be these probably have a much faster firing rate than the fire turrets, because the fire turrets, they deal a lot of damage as their normal attack, but they have a super slow firing rate, and basically like you can just easily dodge it with cloak. So I think really the effectiveness of this is going to be dependent on two things: the firing rate and its damage. Those two things are going to I guess that's true for any tower, but especially this one. I think before I can really say will it be super overpowered, those two things are gonna have to be shown. But this is what I want to talk about, is its passive ability. Now, I know there's going to be some questions, so it boosts the towers, the flaks on the island. So I want to go ahead and talk about where I think these will be most used, and kind of the placement that I would personally use myself, as well as kind of explain a couple of things that some people might misunderstand and use in the wrong way. So, the first question I know I will get is, will they replace fire flaks or even storm towers on kill islands like these? My answer to that is I don't think so. The reason why I don't think it will replace fire flaks on these particular, like if you have and a lot of people do these days, especially if you watch my videos, I know a lot of people switched when they saw my video on it, and they've heard it before. I'm not saying I'm like the only reason why people switch their bases, but let's say you have you have a dragon coming at your base with a dark flak resist, and you change this fire flak to the new tower. Even though the new tower's passive ability will increase the amount of damage that flaks will do, if they have a resist towards dark flaks, and I bring in a reverse projectiles to reverse the damage coming from this new tower, the Zap Flak, that projectile damage, if it deals an insane amount of damage, reversed upon itself, might one-shot it. You look at this health really quickly. Let's take a moment to look at this health really quick. So, its health is 16.2 million health. The special attack, the Dark Flak attack itself, is 13.3 million. That is almost enough. If the elemental damage of the Dark Flak was reversed, it would be almost enough to one-shot. I think with the runes, and with the bonus from the rider and gear, if the damage is completely reversed with reverse projectiles using, because the Zap Flak, I hope this makes sense, the Zap Flak is projectile based. So if you use reverse projectiles, which should work, it will shoot it back, it will come at you, and then the reverse spell, if you equip it on, will reverse the damage back onto the flak itself, and it might one-shot it. So there would be no damage output from this island on any dragon that had a Dark Flak. So, Dark Flak resist. So I don't think it would necessarily replace the Fire Flak. Now, some people might say, well, what about the Storm? Here's the thing. I personally prefer, even though I know a lot of people like Ice Flaks on these islands, I really prefer the Storm, because it messes a ton of people up with Hunters. I know with really good flyers, definitely for sure, Ice Flaks are much, much better. For sure, it's extra damage, and also it leaves them to where they can't use spells if they're really good flyers. The majority of people at my level, and basically money doesn't buy skill. That's what I say. And I'm not saying that I'm the best flyer ever either, but most people over level 300, or in the game for that matter, cannot fly. Some people can, most people can't. So this right here is a lot more beneficial to my kill island than, let's say, a Ice Flak would be. So I don't think that the new flak would necessarily replace this, in my opinion at least. So yeah, that's my personal thing. If anybody's curious on if you copied my base and you're curious if maybe you should change it, I wouldn't for the time being. But what I will most likely do, if I can get a bunch of elemental shards, which I'm kind of running low on, because I will be down to like 20k after I max this one out, as well as this one, is I probably will change this ice turret to it, because it, again, its passive increases the super shot damage. So if I'm defending, these will deal a pretty good amount of damage, and this one especially from afar. So I think that maybe if you kind of have this setup where you have like the 2 flaks, maybe putting it right here would definitely be a good option. Now, here is where I think a lot of people are going to mistake what the passive does. The passive increases the damage that the other flaks on that island. Now, PG's island isn't necessarily what we consider to be an island. Now, a lot of people consider like this right here to be one island. So people might be saying, okay, well, I'll just move, this kill island to here, and then put one of the new flaks in the back, and it will still increase the damage of these towers up here, these flaks right here, and I can kind of keep that same setup. Here's the thing. Oops, I gotta click those. Here's the thing. It won't work like that, because these to PG are considered 2 different islands. So if you have a Zap Flak back here, it will not increase the damage of the flaks up front on this first island right here. So it's not necessarily going to, at first I was like, okay, well, maybe it might make it to where I should move my kill island to here, and then I can put a Zap Flak right here. But since it's only boosting the damage of the flaks on that particular island, that's not going to work. Because there is like this little difference in between these 2 islands and even these 2 islands right here. So let's say I have a Zap Flak right here. The Zap Flak, again, is the new flak. And I have a Fire Flak right here. The Zap Flak will increase the damage of this Ice Flak, but it will not increase the damage of this Fire Flak, because this technically to PG is 2 different islands, because it says a max of 8 per base, which means, and again, only one of these Zap Flaks per island. So that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they consider each of these individual spots one island. So yeah, I really hope that makes sense. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Will these flaks be useful? Will they not be? I'm kind of curious. If you're kind of, high level and you have a maxed out base, please let me know. Because I know some of you guys are out there watching this video. So yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it helped you guys out. And yeah, let me know if you have any further questions on how these work. Again, I'm not a professional at this yet. I'm not 100%, I'm sorry, I'm not professional. I'm not an expert on these flaks whatsoever. I just am taking what I know of the game, as well as kind of what I think the meta is at the moment. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.